just had this idea that I really wanted to talk about a girl who was growing up with a great deal of privilege, and so the sort of the Connecticut suburban, life was seemed like about the right sort of representation of that. But no, I think Alex is more of an amalgamation of a bunch of different sort of pieces that I've sort of seen over time, different people I've met. Like, it's not any one individual.
Okay. Miss King, so while we went over that question.
Feel free, just ask anything.
Okay.
She might say something different.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay,
that's
so
the question.
Yeah.
I asked,
She's so jet lagged she doesn't even remember it. So.
So what inspired you to use the petrified bat mixed with beer to indicate the visions?
Okay, well what inspired me to use the petrified bat was that I actually, and I mean just like Lori, I'm going to correct us all, it was mummified because it can't turn to stone. But I found a mummified bat when I first moved back to America, and it was a mix of that and the fact that one of my sisters used to mix up strange concoctions for me to drink just for fun. She would just dare me. She would be like, I dare you. And it started with, I'll never forget, it started with milk and orange juice. And I was like, that's awesome. What's next? And then she would put like cocoa mix in it, and she would put Jello, a mustard. Basically, she would mix emetics for me, and I still wouldn't throw up. So, drinking concoctions, strange concoctions, is not.
So you just thought like beer and a bat?
No,
Totally.
no, I didn't even think of that. That all just came like as I was writing. But the bat, I have no idea. I have no idea where that came from. It just came that day, and I went with it.
Okay.
I know.
Okay. Paolo?
Yeah.
Were there any alternate endings that you thought about?
A lot of times I actually, there was actually a moment when I actually thought that maybe I needed to have, well, I don't want to do spoilers here. I thought through a couple of different outcomes, and some of them more serious, some of them sillier, and it was interesting sort of trying to find my way to one that seemed believable but also pleasing, and that was actually hard, because like there was one version at least that was a genuine tragedy, and I was like, I don't like that. I don't want a tragedy. I don't want to write a tragedy. I didn't start out wanting to write a tragedy, but a lot of the story sort of pushed in that direction in a way that was really, it was actually sort of frightening. But yeah.
Okay. Is Ellie inspired off of anyone you know?
Not really, no. I mean, I can't write real people. I mean, that gets you in trouble. It's not nice. But their relationship, not their relationship, but the idea of a geographical friendship was definitely inspired off my childhood. My best friend and I only had each other. And we were different in a lot of ways. But we're still friends, and there was never, I mean, she certainly didn't live in a hippie commune, and I certainly didn't live, the way Glory did, so, but that friendship was definitely inspired by that. But not herself. I don't know anyone like Ellie, I don't think.
Okay, and this one's for both of you. Where is your, favorite place to write?
I've got an answer.
Go ahead.
This is going to sound really silly. I have a treadmill desk.
Lucky duck. I hear they're great once you get the hang of them.
So I was on a standing desk already, and this has to do, I have this bad back, and so it's better if I'm standing, and it's better if I'm moving, and so I felt immensely ridiculous when I got this thing, because it's like this treadmill that you sort of slide under your high desk, and you do actually walk on it and type at the same time, and I was really afraid that it was the dumbest thing that I ever bought in my life. But it turns out that one of the best things that I have is in my, when I'm getting stuck with a book or anything like that, is that one of the things that's the best for me is actually to go for a walk. And that's when I'm really stuck on a scene, is I'll set it down and I'll go outside and I'll go walk around the block a few times, and typically I can walk my way through a solution to a problem. And weirdly, by working on a treadmill desk, it sort of feels like it's kicking some of the same gears into line in my head. So I tend to be able to focus in really well, and I also tend to feel pretty inspired while I'm writing. While I'm walking in it, and typically, I mean, I can get it up to like 2.5 miles an hour, and I'm typing away there.
Can
and
you
stuff
really
like
do it?
Yeah.
So
Oh, I
just
totally
want-
can do it.
I
It's
tried at friends.
fabulously comfortable. Yeah, I love it. Yeah,
This will take,
totally.
it must take a minute to get used to. I have vertigo as well, so
Step-
for me,
oh,
vertigo,
yeah, yeah.
typing in, but I think it would work. I'm gonna try one, but I
Yeah,
have to
try
I
it
have
out.
to go
Some
to
people
like a
hate
friend's
them.
house
Some people
and
do
try
hate
it.
them. Yeah, no. And you gotta watch out when you step off them.
Well, I already have
because
to
you get
do
this
that.
you get this weird seasick
Right,
sort of
right.
moment where you step off and you forget that you were walking. So yeah.
For me, it's just I have an office finally. Yeah, you have to understand. In all my
Mm.
former houses, all my offices were taken. It's bittersweet by my kids, and so I ended up in an office in my basement that comes up to here on me. I wrote most of my best work in that basement, with mice and snakes, which should have canceled each other out, and it didn't. The nature shows lied.
Snakes
And
didn't eat enough, eat enough
nobody
mice.
ate anybody, and but now I have like this office and there's a window, and so that's my office.
So has your
It's-
work gotten worse?
No,
Being able to see
well,
out. I'm just
I
sorry.
keep the shade down all day.
Oh really? Right? You're
Because
used to
I don't-
working in a dungeon.
This is it, and there's a white bar, so it blinds me because it's the only place to put the desk. I can't put the desk anywhere else, so I'm like looking out the window, so it's too bright. But I do like writing on airplanes and in airports, a lot. Not hotel rooms, but I like airplanes and airports.
Okay, now do the endings of your books come naturally, or do you have to have everything like planned out specifically to happen?
For me, I'll by the time I get about a third or halfway through the book, I get this feeling about where it's supposed to end, and I don't necessarily know how I'm going to get there, but I suddenly have a flash that says, "Oh, that's what it's supposed to be. This book should be ending on this kind of a note." And from there, it acts like a guide star, sort of. You can find your way through all of the rest of the scenes to get to that note. So for me, it's a lot of times what I do is I end up doing all this brainstorming in the very beginning of the book, and as that builds itself, that'll sort of suddenly spin out this like one shooting star that lands far enough out that you can sort of follow it through, and that's the way it works for me at least.
Yeah, endings is very similar to what Paolo just said. Although sometimes, I mean, I've had to rewrite, like the end of Ask the Passengers, I had to rewrite 3 times, about 30,000 words of it. But that was only because, I won't get into why, but, and Vera Dietz, the last maybe 10,000 words of that, I had to just keep beating it, it wasn't right. Whereas Everybody Sees the Ants, I knew exactly what the final scene would be. And I love just sliding right in.
Yeah, I remember that I had a hard time with the last paragraph. You know, where I'm going into this
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of rap, and there's a certain pace, and I want to hit,
Beats
this
and
note,
all that.
that note,
Yeah.
this note, and
Yeah.
then close, and I'll end up in this paragraph like moving the comma around, and doing
Yeah.
all sorts of trying to find just exactly the right rhythm.
I have to take
Yeah.
ands out, and I'm like repeating ands, but this one with Gloria O'Brien, it was and then we were like, no, we can't have and it took me ages, but same deal, I'll spend 5-10 minutes trying to figure out if a but or an and or a comma should stay or go, or, yeah, but endings, yeah, they have to be just right.